it's Janet, the plant-powered peddler. It's Monday, time for our Zoom, and today we're going to have Dr. Ellie Phillips. She is an amazing dentist on YouTube. She's been a dentist for 40 years, and she has a great preventative mouth care system. And I had her on a couple months ago, and I'm going to have her on again. We've got some questions for her. We're thinking if we have questions, you probably do too. So we'll see if she'll let us ask her some questions and go from there.
For anyone who doesn't know me, I've spent my life, it really is more than 50 years of teaching adults mainly, but children and mothers of special needs kids in particular, how the simple things that we know you can do that can stop cavities, that can have you avoid gum disease. I mean, that's easy, but that can actually reverse a cavity and that can actually cure gum disease. And like anything else in life, it is so much easier to start with a baby. It's so much easier to wipe xylitol, which is, I now realize the one thing I didn't bring to show you, but it's the crystals, these little crystals of xylitol. You can get little packets of them, and you can literally wipe a solution of xylitol over teeth and of the baby, and it will have this effect of separating out the sheep from the goats. It basically feeds there we go. Well, are those mints? Those were mints, right? Jan, those are mints. Right. I'm talking about the crystals. Do you have the crystals? Aha. Yes. Well, you have a 1 pound bag. They also come in little packets. And, with a baby, one packet will probably last you 3 or 4 days, maybe a week. You only need the tiniest amount. And you just wipe it over these erupting baby teeth, and then they never have teething issues. The teeth come through covered in good bacteria. I mean, it's a dream. It's a dream. In Finland, they hand out xylitol chewing gum to kids in preschool. They pick a piece of gum, they walk around the table, chew it for two minutes, because that's all you want to get the xylitol out of the gum. They don't chew it all morning. They don't have a problem with gum under the desk or anything. You chew it, walk around the table, throw it out. And if you choose to use gum, do not chew it for longer than 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a max. I really don't think over and over chewing is good for your digestive tract. It's not good for your TMJ, the jaw anchor, and it's really not good for your teeth, and everything gets messed up. So I've been teaching this to mothers along with diet, nutrition in different formats. Along the way, I figured out through my patients that there was a complete mouth care system of oral care products that worked in synergy with xylitol, and it speeded up all these amazing things that occur in your mouth. And the big sort of overview, and I'm going to answer one question I know somebody asked. They said, how much water do you put the xylitol in to swish it around? And that means I didn't explain xylitol properly last time. Xylitol is hygroscopic. It's a 5-carbon pentose sugar. Our bodies make xylitol. Our body makes 15 grams of xylitol inside us every day. It stabilizes blood glucose. It's in little amounts, and they get rid of it. The body gets rid of it pretty quickly. It doesn't build up or anything. And what it does when we put some xylitol crystals in our mouth, it pulls a flow of saliva into our mouth. It has this hygroscopic effect, and saliva, when it's sort of cold like that, when it's pulled, it feels the responsibility like a fire department. Let's take all the minerals we can with us and everything we need and immune cells and everything else, because obviously we're needed. And so when the saliva, what we call it in dentistry, is stimulated saliva, when it's stimulated like that, it is far more mineralized. It's much more healing. It's amazing. It's the best liquid. It's the best thing you can possibly put on your teeth. And xylitol brings this into your mouth. And then the key is to not eat or drink for an hour afterwards. That's ideally what you want. Let your teeth just soak up those minerals. Don't keep putting more mints in. Don't keep having sips of water. Don't if you can actually not talk, it's even better because your mouth wants to just be. And when you do that, it is repairing and remineralizing. You know, I've always said I wish my car I could park it in the garage at night and I could spray it with some sort of automotive xylitol so that all the dings and dents that happen in the parking lot and when people, run their carts into you and things and the kids, do stuff, that it would all melt away because basically that's what's happening in that hour. That's why it's so ideal at the end of a meal because as you eat and drink, the things that hurt teeth, there are two things: mouth dryness, and obviously xylitol is dealing with dryness. It's coming with saliva to coat your teeth. And the other thing that hurts teeth is acidity. And if you eat sugar, it turns to acids. If you eat carbohydrates break down in your mouth to form sugars. The sugars break down to form acids. So carbohydrates, and then you've got sugars, and then you've got things like citrus fruits. Citrus fruits are actually even more damaging. They are literally the vacuum. They pull minerals out of your teeth. They have the Dyson vacuum in your mouth. It's literally sucking out the minerals from your teeth. Now, don't get me wrong. I love lemon juice. I mean, lemon juice is wonderful. Lemonade. I mean, don't get scared now just because I've said that to you. Let's take this in the scientific way. Why am I not scared of lemon juice?
Xylitol.
I I am not scared of lemon juice because I'm not scared of picking up. Are you scared of picking up a weight at the gym? You know it breaks your muscles down, actually makes your muscles break down. But because somebody told you, you believe that if you rest and eat well, that is that noise on my end or your end?
I don't hear a noise.
You okay? Okay, good. That when you rest and recover and eat properly, those muscle cells will rebuild, they will repair, and what will happen is that your muscles will be younger. They will be, I'm just going to make sure my phone's off and that's not doing something here. Sorry.
Okay.
That your muscles will repair and rebuild, and you'll have brand new, young, you have the same age muscles as the young kid in the gym next to you. So, in your mouth, we want to break our teeth down a little bit. We want this demineralization so that the saliva in our mouth can rebuild brand new, white, shiny, same as the 16-year-old or 20-year-old. You are rebuilding your enamel. Now, if you don't rebuild your enamel, if you are not balancing this equation, if you are sipping coffee, having a nibble, sipping, and you are never ever out of that habit, you are just breaking down your teeth, breaking, just like somebody works out at the gym every single minute of every single day. What would they look like? They'd probably be like a jellyfish. So it's balance, and you don't have to be afraid of anything. And if you love lemonade, drink it. Great. But drink it, if possible, as a composite of a meal. These meal sessions that end, they have a real ending. And at the end of the meal, try to complete the meal, if possible, with a tooth protective food. And there are all kinds of different tooth protective foods. I mean, avocado. There's no acid, no carbohydrate. There's lots of oils. You're safe with that. Celery, very fibrous, lots of celery juice, wonderful, alkalizing food. Apples, actually, and then surprisingly, strawberries and raspberries because they naturally contain xylitol. So I'm not saying you have to always end with xylitol. I am just saying that xylitol is a very convenient, especially in America, way to teach people.
But
I
not with
began my
water.
Sorry?
But not with water, because
But
that guy
not in
needs it.
water, because if you put it in water, it loses its hygroscopic ability.
Yeah.
The water it attracts now is all messed up with it. So you don't want to do that. If you want to use the crystals, put them right on your tongue or dip your raspberry into them. Delicious.
Hmm.
But once you put the xylitol in water, you're not getting that happening. Now, that's why that's one benefit. That's one attribute of xylitol. As I mentioned, you should make a little solution to put it on baby's teeth because we're not looking to remineralize baby teeth. They're just coming into the mouth. Baby teeth don't need remineralizing. What they need is to get covered in good bacteria that are going to protect them for the rest of their lives. So that is the other attribute of xylitol. Xylitol feeds good bacteria, both in your mouth and in your gut. And we're going to talk in a minute quite a bit about your digestive bacteria and xylitol.
Okay.
But right now, in your mouth, it feeds the good bacteria, it feeds the plaque bacteria, but the plaque bacteria cannot process xylitol. I told you it was 5 carbon, sugar is 6. So it's like the wrong screwdriver. And so plaque bacteria cannot get any energy. They usually slip off your teeth. The problem is if you've been, particularly for you guys, because you have been eating a vegan, often quite fibrous diet, and your teeth, if you're eating kale and spinach and these things with oxalic acid in, can actually be quite rough. Even though that, I'm not criticizing a vegan, it's a very healthy kind of diet, but it can be quite rough on your teeth. And one of the things most people find when they get on board with my complete mouth care system is that their teeth become smoother and shinier.
Yes.
And you coat
Yeah.
this saliva over your teeth and you go, that's slippery. That's like, wow, that feels like I just waxed my car, and your food that used to get all stuck up there doesn't get stuck up there as much anymore. And
Yeah.
these are the things that xylitol does. So I hope that's cleared up. Don't put it in water
Hmm.
specifically. I mean, you can. And end of life, we're all getting there with our mothers. I've been through that. And, at the end of her life, she wasn't cleaning her teeth. And instead of her having fungi and stuff, irritating her mouth and maybe giving her pneumonia, I would wipe her teeth with a sponge dipped in a solution of xylitol and water. Unfortunately, in hospice, they use lemon juice and glycerin, which are about two of the worst things you could put in a mouth. The lemon juice demineralizes the teeth, makes them feel furry, and the glycerin like feeds the bad bacteria. So you don't want that. You want xylitol. A solution of xylitol made the most sense. I could then just smooth it over her teeth, and it felt like this. It felt
Hmm.
wonderful. And I think that's the same principle. So I hope I've answered that question completely.
The
Um,
concern was swallowing it because of the microbiome and the nitrous oxide, but you're going to address that, right?
you want me? Well, let's do one more thing first, I think.
Okay.
And then let me go on to that because I think another question you had was you'd mentioned to me people are seeing staining, and you said, "Oh, I see that brown stain."
Yeah. The
This
dead
is
plaque.
this is most likely plaque that was already stuck onto your teeth. Your teeth are a little bit porous because you've been drinking lemon juice and you didn't know all of that, how the vacuuming out of your minerals. So the plaque can get a foothold. I mean, can really get locked on your teeth. I come along with the xylitol. This feels wonderful. This is great. Your teeth feeling better, mouth's getting healthier. What's happening to those plaque bacteria in a 12-year-old's mouth is that they will brush off their teeth just like that. They're not that stuck. They'll just disappear. And I don't care if you just had a dental cleaning, it's the porosity of your teeth. I'm trying to think of an analogy like barnacles on a coral reef or something. They're just
Mhm.
locked in there. And you could go to the dentist and have them clean it off. I want to avoid you doing that until you're a little bit further along so that they don't come back. So I try to encourage people to go 6 months at least before they have a dental cleaning. And so what can you do? Well, the first thing you can do is pay great attention to the kind of toothbrush I recommend. And right now it's the Mouth Watchers toothbrush.
Mm-hmm.
If you think you can get these barnacles off with a electric soft brush, you're kidding yourself. If you think the old Bass Technique toothbrush is adequate, it is not. These bristles are different from every other bristle out there. And they are resilient. I mean, they're really, if you've ever felt them, they've really got a bounce to them. And I brought a model today to show
Oh,
you
good.
that, when we brush, imagine these are my teeth. Here's a video that should go viral. Um, you know, if you got a lot of toothpaste on your toothbrush, don't necessarily start there because you might brush away. You might be doing more brushing here, and maybe you don't need it there so much. Think about where does this calculus, where do these problem areas in your mouth exist? Most people, it's the inside of the bottom teeth,
Mm.
either on the outside or the inside. But if you're getting this down here, when you've got the most toothpaste on your toothbrush, I would begin by targeting it.
That's what I do. And I sprinkle the xylitol
Oh,
granules on
cool.
it, like you
Yes, you
said.
can sprinkle xylitol granules right on top of your toothpaste. And then make sure those bristles, you see what I'm doing? Can I,
Yeah.
is, really work them,
Yeah.
really work them in there and round and round. I mean, this is gum massage. Really, it is.
All right.
And you've got to do a job on your teeth and you've got to figure out the best way to do it. I actually think right now I have no deposits that really bother me. So I begin at the top right hand, left hand corner because I'm
Hmm.
right-handed. And, I'll work around the teeth, the gums, all the way around. But you know what I'm very cognizant of as a dentist is that when I get to here, the midline, it is really easy to turn your wrist. Do you see what I just did? I got to
Hmm.
here or even to here, and then I turned my wrist and finished up over here. Did anyone notice the teeth I missed?
Yeah.
That one and that one, those two, that gum there. I mean, I used to see patients come in and their gums here were bright red and bleeding.
Hmm.
It's like, are you right-handed? And then the minute I showed them, they realized what they were doing. So you have to actually take your elbow, oh, sorry, and go further round.
Hmm.
You really have to go round before you turn your wrist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you may be brushing this eye tooth twice, but because it is so difficult to get right at the back of that tooth, you try getting there. You got to really focus. And it is such a little backwater for plaque to get stuck. And then you carry on up to the back. Now, if you have a small mouth, chances are your mom yelled at you to open your mouth wider so she could brush them or whatever. So from the
Hmm.
time you were a little girl, because women generally are more compliant than the boys, we've opened our mouth so wide as we brush our teeth that this jaw here that's supported by the masseter muscle, this is a very strong muscle, it's our eating muscle. When you stretch it tight, it's like a band-aid or more like a strap that you can't get your toothbrush really very far back. So you
Hmm.
have to put your toothbrush in, close up your mouth so this thing is loose, and then you'll be able to go around at the back and do your circles and what you have to do right behind the last tooth. And if this brush is too big, this company makes a youth, Y-O-U-T-H, a smaller one. And yet the bristles are just the same, just as dense. The head of the brush is almost identical. It's the
Hmm.
best thing to do if you have a very small mouth. Maybe you do the back with that and the rest with this. I mean, I got people have all sorts of programs that they invented. And that's great. And don't forget, you've got so much area to brush on the inside and benefit from because all of this pink stuff is impregnated with blood vessels and lymph liquids that are going to take away the infections and bring you the nutrients your teeth and your gums need. So that's what we're doing with a toothbrush. We're also coating toothpaste over the teeth. And yes, of
Put
course,
my
you can.
earbuds. I'll listen. Okay.
Somebody's not muted.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, Brush every surface. I mean, that's what you want to do. But I find most people, I mean, when you look at I think there's some TV ad, I caught it the other day of an electric toothbrush, and it's literally like going round and round here. It wasn't even touching the gums. I think most people don't realize the need that they'll scrub up and down and scrub across the front, but they're not understanding this intent. So I hope I made that really, really clear. And to brush quite vigorously, don't be scared. With the technique I recommend anyway, don't be scared because you're using a pre-brushing rinse that's protecting your teeth so they're not going to be damaged by this brushing. And then the brushes are such a beautiful design, they're not going to damage your gums. You don't have to press so hard. If you're finding that your gums are a little bit sore, then lighten up a bit. I'm not saying press hard. Saying being vigorous. Don't be or jiggle, jiggle, jiggle that you can hardly see. Really have fun with it. This hasn't got to be a chore. This should turn out to be like a spa treatment for your teeth. I think that's
It
what I
is.
try to get across.
It feels
So
so good.
I know you know about the granules. I have a YouTube video about naturally removing to remove tooth stains naturally, I think it's called, or something like that, where literally I'm mixing toothpaste with the granules, but you can just put the little granules on the top of the toothpaste. It's quicker. And I don't know, I hadn't thought of that until I made the video. And then I was like, I could just put crystals on top of the toothpaste.
And
So
your website is drellie.com.
drellie.com,
And then
yeah.
yeah, and they can get your uh they can get the toothbrushes. That's where I got them
Yes,
off your
you can get
website.
the free downloadable booklet of the kit
Yeah,
of the
mhm.
system. You can buy a kit, and I recommend that, not because it's my pleasure. I'm perfectly happy. The whole intent is you will be self-sufficient. You'll go to the grocery store and buy what you need. But there are so many kinds of Crest toothpaste. So many different kinds. All of them I discount. You do not want stannous fluoride, Crest Pro Health. You do not want one that's got something else added into it. So
Mhm.
I put in this kit everything you need so that when you're beginning to run out, you take the empty carton. You can go to Walmart. You can go in Texas, the HEB, and up in New York. You can go to Wegmans. These stores have every single product. They have the Closest, the Listerine, the Act, everything, and even the Zellies. So, um, yeah,
And you also have pictures of it, so you can just
pictures. I have
take the
links.
pictures, and that's what we did. We went to Amazon and Walmart, and we got everything.
Yeah,
We
and
went to subscribe and save on Amazon, and they just, you
that's
figure out how long you've got between each one, and you just get in a rhythm. So
superb. And I have links on my, not because I'm trying to make a living out of Amazon clicks or anything, but because you want to get the right product. If you
yeah.
get gum health closest, even though it's for gum health,
Hmm.
it's this entity that has taken the product now. It used to be a guy I knew. It used to be the friend of my landlord made the closest, and he was a good guy and he made it for dental offices to have their patients rinse with it before treatment. That's how I know why it works and how it works. But then he got divorced, his wife got the company, it got sold and sold and sold and sold. And now the products don't care a bit. And they want to sell the cheapest ingredients, which is in the gum health. And they
Hmm.
know I'm out there. I'm sending people to buy closest, and they're buying the wrong one all the time. So just be really smart and look carefully at what I'm recommending. If you don't want to do it through my links, you know, do it yourself, but make sure you know what you're doing. So
Yeah.
the other thing I do recommend, I don't know if I told you about, these are little
Oh
donuts
yeah.
that are absolutely terrific for drying a toothbrush. And we want you to have two toothbrushes, one for the morning, one for the night.
Mhm.
And these are on Amazon as well. And I use the dark one to remember that's the nighttime toothbrush. And I use the white one for the morning, because sometimes I don't always end up with two different colors, and sometimes I do. And it's all, once you get into this, you're so confused how, what's where. So I keep my sanity with these little donut things, which I think is,
How often do you switch out the toothbrushes?
you need to have the 24 hours for them to dry between
But I
uses.
mean to buy another set.
But for me, I buy another set probably every 8 to 10 weeks,
Okay.
almost about, between less than 3 months.
Okay.
Um, the reason that I'm okay with that for me is that I'm not worried about anything much. I'm a bit worried about picking up periodontal pathogens because I'm older. If I was 30 years old, I might go a little longer. If you already know you have cavities or gum disease, you should change these perhaps a bit more often, just to be safe. This is
Hmm.
$10. What's that worth to you? If I go away on vacation, I'll probably, start again with new ones. I might go longer, get a new one for vacation, and then start again. I don't travel too much ever with a toothbrush. I just don't. I'd rather buy cheap ones and toss them than travel and pack them in a bag, because that's when the bad news happens. And then the last little bits of my show and tell here, don't forget your sinus health. Your sinus and nose is connected at the back of your mouth to all of this biofilm. We're getting the biofilm of your mouth healthy. We need your nose to be healthy too, and then it goes down your throat. I use xylitol nasal spray by this company, XLEAR, and you just do, this is how it looks in its little packet. I do not stick this thing up my nose. I put it at the entrance to my nose and simply spritz a little bit up my nose last thing at night, particularly when the air is dry. In Austin, we just had a really dry spell. I go to Colorado sometimes, and the winter is so dry. I mean, this is wonderful. If you have dry mouth, or you have Sjogren's, or you're taking medications that dry your mouth, try adding this into your routine. Do it at the end of the routine. And what I do is, again, I sort of mist my nose while I'm maybe finishing up my makeup, brush my hair, whatever, before bed, kind of sniff it up a minute or two, and then I might blow my nose so that it feels more comfortable. And even give it a minute or two. Just if you're going to do stretching before bed or something, you'll find all of a sudden your sinuses, it's like it works its way through. And just like giving your mouth an hour, I think it takes a 10, 15 minutes for this really to do a number on your sinus and nasal. So just to spray it and lie down may not be as beneficial, particularly if you do some late night yoga moves. I mean, that might be the moment to do a little meditation, let your sinuses clear. So that's sort of a normal transition now into nitric oxide.
Well, can you just they're asking questions and I can
Okay.
direct
Can
most
you
of them,
tell them?
but
Can you ask?
d-
Let's do those questions. You ask me.
okay. So Tracy Lynn is in Perth, Australia, and she's wondering if you could provide the link for the Australian buyer that you said.
Oh, it's Healthy Kiwis company. It's a company, Healthy Kiwis Inc. And they will ship to Australia. If you go on Healthy Kiwi website, it's healthykiwi.nz or something. They have Dr. Ellie's system, and they have everything that's part of the system,
Healthykiwi
or .com.
dot
Well,
com.
it isn't, because it's New Zealand. As soon as she puts in Healthy Kiwi or Google
Oh,
search,
it's not Australia. Oh, okay. So New
he
Zealand.
does
Yeah.
Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, I did find them, but they weren't necessarily any cheaper than getting it shipped from the US or Canada, wherever it
Really?
comes from. No, yeah, for the things that I was buying, it wasn't necessarily cheaper for me to do that. And
Oh,
then I
wow.
thought maybe there was one in Australia, which I couldn't find.
No, I mean, the other thing, you've tried myus.com, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Now, the other thing for people who are struggling, I mean, you can make your own mints if that's what you're looking for, but it's probably the toothpaste.
Okay. Oh, I did buy everything, but I had it through Amazon. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I do. And
Yeah, I
then
don't.
do you have a store on Amazon, Dr. Ellie?
Well, yeah, through drellie.com. Oh,
Okay,
Yeah.
that
you
I
mean,
gave
do
her
I
your
have an
website.
Amazon store?
Yeah,
I don't know. I have links. I don't know what goes on.
if you have with your store, people go in and see the products that you recommend,
I
so they
don't
don't
think
get the wrong
I
things.
think it's kind of set up like that on my
Oh,
website, but not.
Yeah.
it
Check
is
out.
on your website. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. That's how we found everything. So that's
Okay.
what I gave her.
Thank
And
you.
then
I'm
let me
sorry,
just
it's
go.
difficult. I hope it'll get easier.
I know you're
Oh,
just so.
it's so hard. The shipping, people get. I spend my life talking to people in India and Philippines, and So
Yeah.
next question. I'm sorry, I've had.
Recommendations for xylitol.
Well, my product that I formulated 25 years ago is called Zellies.
Mhm.
Z for xylitol, Ellie is my name. And at that point, I was making them for my family, friends, employees, and they called them Ellies.
Yeah.
And, Zellies has been around for 25 years. It's my passion. So there's no economy. It wasn't about making money. It never did make money. Um,
But the nice thing is you don't have sugar in here. You don't have other
no,
crap. I
it's
mean, there
perfect.
is,
It's actually a supplement. We are
yeah.
the FDA come and do special inspections on us because we present ourselves as a supplement for oral health. So
Mhm.
there's no glycerin, there's no sugar. It's safe to eat in the middle of the night. Those are Zellies, and they're mints and gum, and they have 5 flavors. Cool mint tastes like an Altoid, peppermint. There's spearmint, which is softer mint. There's cinnamon, cherry berry, which kids are popular with kids. There's cool fruit, which is a bizarre taste. It's just one of the first ones I made for some of the employees liked it, and we kept it ever since. My favorite is the cool mint. Um, Now, the competitors in America are the guy that makes the nasal spray. Uh, he was one of the first. He and I were, along with Epic is another one. We were out there in 2004. We didn't know each other because there was no real internet connection. His dad was the doctor that developed this, and he decided to start selling mints and gum. And he and Epic kind of have the same products. They both are in Utah and are, I don't know if they're family, but they're connected in some way. And so that's the main competition in America. There is a Swiss product called Pure Gum. I think you see it pretty much everywhere. I mean, they are in Marshalls and big stores.
I think that has sorbitol in it.
It has other things in it. The guy is selling it to make a business. He's not a dentist. He actually saw my product in his mom's kitchen and go, wow, that's a wide open opportunity.
Mm.
And he took off, which is great. I mean, it's
Mhm.
provided xylitol to lots of people. So
Is the nasal spray on your
it,
.com
it is somewhere on that Amazon. I
or
think it's
just Dr. Ellie's
for
store?
people with dry mouth is how
Yeah.
I think it's categorized. We need to
Okay.
do better. But initially, I would usually recommend this for somebody who had Sjogren's or was taking medication that dried their mouth. But now I think everyone should do it, particularly if you're over the age of 40.
And I just want to say for the people that are telling me how much the Zellies mints are, the granules are just xylitol and they're much cheaper. If money is an issue, that's another option.
I mean, truly, if you take one mint, how many mints are in that? I don't even, 580 or?
This is well, it's 10.3 ounces.
Isn't there a
I
number?
think you're right. I think you're right. I think the numbers on
I think it's on the front.
Amazon
I think it's
when
on the
you
front. Is it not on the front? I'm sorry. I just don't know.
oh 540. Yeah. 540
540.
minutes. Yeah, it's
And
right there.
you could do the math for me, somebody. If you took 5 mints a day, if you're really economizing and you took one after each meal and snack, 5 minutes a day and then you didn't eat or drink for 2 hours afterwards?
108.
How many days?
108.
How many weeks is that? Divide that by 7. That's
Like a little over 15.
15 weeks, which is like 4 months, right? So you got 4 months worth of protection in that bag of mints.
And then with the granules, it's just a few granules on your tongue, right?
Yeah,
Like
you want
it's
a tenth of a teaspoon. I mean, it's just
yeah, just a
tiniest
sprinkle.
little sprinkle.
Yeah.
So it's not an expense. It's just learning how to maximize it. Because if you take the xylitol and then you have a cup of coffee, or you put it in water and then, swish it and spit it out, and then you have your cup of coffee or you do something else, you're not maximizing it and you're not going to see the benefits. But if you do it right, it's a tool to help nature do what nature does. Xylitol doesn't heal your teeth. I had some guy on YouTube say, "Oh, I take loads of those xylitol, didn't help at all." I bet you he smokes, probably drinks coffee all day. The xylitol can't help him. Actually, it probably can a bit, but you know what I'm saying? You've got to understand it. It isn't something that I'm just going to say, take 5 a day, good luck. In fact, they did a study with that and they found it reduced the root decay by 45%. With drug addicts and people who didn't clean their teeth, they gave them 5 minutes a day. So if you're using 5 minutes a day, I guarantee you'll see an improvement in your oral health if you then don't eat or drink afterwards. And on a final note, okay, go. Let's have another question.
It's about the gums, and if they're receded gums, what's the chance of the gums growing
Coming back?
back? Yeah.
Well,
Or is it okay that they just don't recede anymore?
Well, it depends what caused them to recede.
Well, they're sensitive.
Yeah. I mean, when you
sensitivity.
lost there's no enamel on the roots of your teeth.
Yeah.
And if your gums recede, you expose the root of your teeth. The root of your teeth has no protection. It's not supposed to be in your mouth. So when you drink cold, hot, breathe cold air, it will be sensitive. The same cells that are in a dentin. You know, when a dentist cuts your tooth and you weren't numb and he puts a spiky thing on the dentin, has that ever happened to anyone? Because you pretty much fly out of the chair because there is only one kind of pain in a tooth. It
Nerve pain.
hurts. There isn't just, oh, it's a slight tingle. No, the only pain the tooth knows is it's darn well hurts, like right up here somewhere. There
Yeah.
is a direct connection for some reason between your teeth and some point in the middle of your brain and agony. So, which you want to deaden the sensitivity. And if you do my complete mouth care system and you do adequate mouth resting, enough minerals should be able to go into your teeth to actually pacify this given time. Now, sure, Sensodyne can desensitize those little cells pretty quickly because it actually like burns all I can think of is a candle wax, the taper, and it just kind of sears the end of that nerve. It makes a compound at the end that plugs the hole between the nerve and the stuff in Sensodyne and in these sensitive toothpastes. You are basically deadening the end of the nerve. Singe your hair, it's all that sort of approach. It's very harsh. It's either a zinc, sometimes they use stannous fluoride, which I don't agree with ever, does that, and it congeals to make this little plug. Well, then that doesn't last very long because it falls out in the next bit, and then you have to keep redoing it. So I am not a fan of desensitizing stuff. I am a fan of continuously working to mineralize your teeth. Will your gums grow back? All depends on if you've stopped doing the damage. For example, I damaged my teeth by every night before bed, I would eat grapefruit. I didn't know. I was a dental student. I was in my room and eat grapefruit and go to bed. And that acidity dissolved away my teeth in a channel up here at the back of all my teeth. And I think I was grinding my teeth as well because I was stressed out. And there's a dent across all my teeth. It looks like I brushed my teeth the wrong way, but that isn't the case. It's that this acidity demineralized my teeth and the little enamel crystals broke off. And now the gum has nothing to grow over to go back. So I have a little bit of gum recession where there's this dip in my tooth, but the gum is tight and healthy all the way around up to there. So it's not very beautiful. It's not, if I went to a dentist, he'd want to fill it. But I know that those fillings are dangerous. They will upset the nerve in the tooth. And I don't want to have a dead tooth. So I'd rather leave it alone. I don't care what it looks like. I don't go in there with my reading glasses looking at the back of my tooth. I mean, maybe that's a little extreme, but I have very little faith in the kind of fillings they put in those teeth. And I feel they often cause more damage than they solve. They don't stop damage. You stop damage by massaging your gums. Can I tell you if your gums will regrow? Not really, but if you look at your teeth and they have lost the bit of gum, see if I can do this here, between your teeth, you see the little pointy bit? That little pointy bit between each tooth is called a col, C-O-L. It's like a little mountain. It's a little hill that fills up the space between these two teeth. And from col to col, imagine the line, this line or this line on the lower one is easier, is like a necklace. This is the shape around my teeth, right? Goes like this. And you can't massage the gum up. It will never work. But if you can pull the sides of your necklace up, it will automatically raise the necklace.
Yeah.
Okay. So in order to get your gum recession to grow back up, we have to get the col between the teeth to regrow back to where it used to be. And many, many times the col between teeth is beaten down by over flossing. You get floss and then you go to the dentist and they say, oh, you got to floss more. And you go, oh my gosh, I floss all the time. And no, you're not flossing enough. So you being compliant, being a nice, good girl, floss even more. Now your gums start to recede. You go to the dentist, oh, you got gum recession. I got to floss more. So you do more floss. Oh, you got to lose baking soda. Baking soda makes this even worse. Oh, now your teeth are looking yellow. Why don't we use peroxide on them? That makes it even worse. And all the advice you're being given is contradictory to healing this problem. No baking soda, no peroxide, no flossing. Yes, gum massage. Yes, everything that I'm recommending. Yes, good eating and foods to stimulate stem cells. Rest and exercise, green leafy vegetables at lunchtime, and then all this beautiful mouth resting, maybe for longer. Instead of an hour, you do it for 2 hours, and really get these gums, give them a chance. And again, healing is based on blood flow and stem cells. And the best place, if you've got gum recession, say you've got gum recession over here, really brush well on the inside of those teeth. The col goes right through. If you could, I don't know how to describe it, but if we were to
This is
take this
good.
tooth out, there's a lump that goes between the teeth. So there's no reason why you can't brush really vigorously on the inside if maybe over here it's a little bit sore because you've got some recession there. Do the number on the outside and then maybe go a little bit lower over here so you're not right on the sore spot. You can use warm water with these toothbrushes too, if it's more comfortable, especially in the winter if you live somewhere cold.
And they're asking about a water pick.
If you're using my system, you do not need a water pick. Dentists are so funny because they are so against mouthwash now. There's this whole thing that mouthwash is bad, which is so stupid. But anyway, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
But they are fine with a water pick. What is a water pick? You're squirting water or liquid at your teeth. What is a mouthwash? You're squishing or squirting liquid around your teeth. Dentists suddenly see that a water flosser does a better job than string flosser. I think that's what I've been saying for 50 years. If you rinse and squish the liquids between your teeth, they will be cleaner than if you try to do it with a length of string. Because mechanically, you cannot get that same, achieve that same around cleaning. If you got a wisdom tooth stuck at the back at a peculiar angle, how do you think you could possibly floss that clean? But if you got liquid in your mouth and you do good old gargle at the back and round the back, you can get it really, especially with the toothbrush technique I'm showing you, you can get it really very clean.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really about biofilm. It's about having healthy, balanced biofilm. You don't need floss with me as much because you are eradicating plaque. Now, I'm not saying you can never floss. If you want to floss, be aware that PFAS chemicals are in most floss materials. This is why this product, I think it has xylitol in it, but it's, look for natural ones that state they do not have PFAS chemicals in them. I also personally would not floss all around my mouth because if you've got periodontal disease over here, how come you're not moving it around when you move around? I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm fanatic about moving bacteria from one pocket to another, but I don't like the idea. I also feel strongly the best time to floss is when you have toothpaste on your teeth. So if you want to floss or if you're trying to get something stuck out from between your teeth, I would do the closest. I would try and get it out first. Just pick it out with the brush.
I'll grab the products because people are asking.
Oh gosh, I didn't bring those today. Well, you could go back and look at my other video because I don't want to spoil all the questions today, the time for questions, but just to say that, floss, if you've got food stuck, it can help to dislodge it, but don't use it as a way to make your gums healthier. However, do not go into your next dental visit and say, haha, I don't floss anymore. Now look at my gums. Or, I think you're asking for trouble because dentists don't think this way. Hygienists get bent all out of shape. So maybe just chill with it and let them evaluate your mouth. And if you read my book, I have a new version of Kiss Your Dentist Goodbye. In it, I tell the story of Helen Rumbelow, who was a British London Times health writer who gave up flossing and tried my system, went back to the dentist and wrote about it. And there was an absolute, it was a tornado of people was very upset, even though that's what happened. Do we want to do this now, or do we just say go to the other video? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, we could do that.
it's
I'll
up to
just
you.
show them because they're all asking, and it's like there's specific things that will work, and they're typically the cleanest. They're not full of crap, so I think it's important.
I didn't come into this trying to find the most natural product. I've been a natural eater all my life since I was 16. My mom, I said I wasn't going to tell the story, but real fast, my mom was about to have all her teeth taken out, extracted at the age of 45. I knew dentistry couldn't save her teeth. I knew it because I was at dental school. I formulated a program based on skincare. My landlord knew this guy who had a cleansing mouthwash, which is the closest. Do you want to be my show and tell person? Pick up the closest, maybe just the. There are many kinds of that, but the ultra sensitive closest, you do it for a minute. You bathe your mouth with that and it turns to oxygen in your mouth. The bad bacteria of gum disease and deep cavities are anaerobic. So then after that, you brush your teeth with the toothpaste I mentioned, the Crest. You use these toothbrushes that I recommend, which are mouth watchers. You then rinse the toothpaste off with either the original or the Cool Mint Listerine, no other kind. And we'll talk about, am I scared of the alcohol? No, I'm not. Am I scared of Listerine? No, I'm not. We might have the Listerine back on stage in a minute. But what I am worried about Listerine, if you only use Listerine, is that it's acidic. And you guys know all about the damage done by leaving acidic things in your mouth. You will grow bad plaque. You will grow bad bacteria. You will dissolve your teeth. Your teeth will turn soft and they will discolor. Not because of the Listerine. Probably your grandpa used that original Listerine, but he didn't wash it off his teeth, so his teeth turned the color of Listerine. But if you rinse it off your teeth with the ACT, it's equivalent to kind of the Listerine's like a toner, and the ACT is your moisturizer. Would you ever just put the toner on your skin and go out in the Rochester, New York weather? No, you dry up like a prune. You have to put some moisturizer or some kind of barrier, like oil or something on your face, and your mouth is the same. And the problem with baking soda is it strips everything. It's very cleansing, but to the point where you'll lose good bacteria in the process, in my opinion.
It scours.
Well, it's not abrasive. It dissolves the proteins, and the
Oh.
proteins hold biofilm together. And my goal for you is to have your teeth covered in a healthy biofilm. And you are not talking the same language as your dentist now, because dentists believe that plaque is biofilm.
Mm.
And that was what they believed, and was fine that they believed that in the 50 years ago. Kind of. They didn't know any better. But we do know better. Since 2007, there was a human microbiome project that told us our mouth has up to 800 kinds of good bacteria that can live in it. And we want to promote them because they protect us. They totally, totally protect us. So, all right, how many more questions are there?
There's just some questions. Did you work with oral cancer at all? They're asking, is there well, they're asking for the best toothpaste to use for someone who has experienced oral cancer. Any tips for someone who has experienced oral cancer? I drink 16 ounces of water immediately upon awakening. Should I brush my teeth before or after?
Okay.
Hopefully.
Well, I have actually. There's a lady called Eva Grazel, who's a friend of mine, and she is really one of the biggest proponents of oral cancer examinations. And she and I are friends, and we talk a lot. And so I know a lot about oral cancer. I've been to a lot of her lectures. I promote in my new edition of Kiss Your Dentist Goodbye that this should be a standard part of your dental visit. Chapter 10 is all about what should a really good evaluation be? And it should include your oral examination for cancer. It should include, I believe, some kind of scan of your carotid arteries. It should include how is your nasal health. It should include all those things. And yet you don't always need to have x-rays like they take every 6 months, and nor do you just need a routine cleaning just because. So I'm pretty aggressive in this book because this is the final. I mean, this is my legacy. This is it to the world. This is about all I think I can write. I may do a
Full name
documentary.
of the book. It's I can't see the entire title.
Oh, it's Kiss Your Dentist Goodbye. And I have a first edition that was written 20 years ago, published in 2004. It has a white cover, and this is the second edition. And so we know that you got the right one. It has a blue cover up the top. The picture is the same, but the cover is blue colored with a yellow spine.
There's a question, is pocket measuring necessary? Or are you still,
Oh, yeah, no. Pockets. Well, pockets.
Is pocket measuring necessary?
Well, unfortunately, most people don't know they've got periodontal pockets. They occur if you've ever had gingivitis, when your gums bleed, that loosens up the gums. And when they pull apart from your teeth, the thing is that bacteria get in there. And once you have some of these periodontal, they're very special bacteria, they're gum disease bacteria. It's not plaque. Plaque caused the original irritation. If you use my system straight away, if your gums bleed, brush them more. And I will answer the oral care for cancer in a minute. So you see your gums bleeding somewhere, still pink in the sink, go brush your gums more in that area. If you can find out where, or brush the whole mouth again. Don't let your gums bleed without dealing with it. You can deal with it with my complete mouth care system quicker and better and more efficiently than going to the dentist who can't do anything to really help you. Yeah, they can give your teeth a cleaning today, that's good, but as you're paying the bill, the plaque in your saliva is coming back to land on your teeth. So gingivitis is that problem. Once you've had gingivitis, your gums open up and give this little passageway between the tooth and the gums, and these gum disease bacteria, which are more curly whirly things, get in there and cause chaos. They basically cause leaky gum. You've heard of leaky gut? Well, they cause leaky gum. And leaky gum is in essence where the bacteria produce toxins and even some of them can get through and get into your bloodstream. And they have the potential to cause cardiovascular problems, stroke, arthritis, all these different systemic ailments, including getting into your brain. So we do not want pockets because they are nothing but trouble. The problem is once your gums were bleeding and these things got in there, they don't cause pain. They don't cause bleeding. They have no symptoms. They are silent. And so many dentists were not aware of this. I mean, this friend of mine and I 20 years ago, so we started the American Academy for Oral Systemic Health, AAOSH. And this was to teach dentists and doctors, guys, you've got a test for this. And if you want to know more about the testing, again, I believe it should be done in your exam on a regular basis once every couple of years.
But then they tell you to floss
Yeah,
and
but-
use a water pick.
Well,
Just
use
open
my-
up.
Yeah, that's why the whole thing is nuts. And there's
Yeah.
even a study that's been done last year that shows people having a deep cleaning, which is what they're going to recommend to you, are at great risk of having a stroke 3 months later.
Wow.
So this isn't a game, and I'm not
Yeah.
messing with you. I am
Yeah.
very serious that if you're told to have a deep cleaning, do my complete mouth care system, maybe cancel the appointment or don't make it right then. Say that you'll call them and
Yeah, that's what
try
I do.
and give yourself 6 months about, and maybe go back for another exam or go for the cleaning. And I guarantee you, you will not be then at that risk. The risk is having spirochetes and P. gingivalis, these bacteria that are so aggressive, and some young hygienist vigorously scraping around your teeth because she thinks she's doing you a favor. They don't, there's so little understanding about this as a disease. Nobody would do that to you if it was a medical condition on your skin. You know, it just wouldn't be treated that way. So my goal for you is to do this bacterial testing. I'm a very bad clinician now because I go away. I go on different reasons. I go to different places. I'm offline in certain places. So it's difficult for me to be the person that does your testing. I can, if you do not have a dentist prepared to do this oral DNA test for you, I charge $200 and you'll just have to chase me a little bit to get the results because sometimes I'm not at home and I don't have all the internet that I need to get the results and so on. But I'll work with you as best I can if you need me to help you. But everybody, I believe, over the age of 35 should have an oral DNA test and make sure they haven't got a high, group of bad bacteria
Strep
living in their
throat.
mouths. And
Yeah.
these bacteria grow on toothbrushes, so you know. So you can get them from your grandparents coming to visit. You can get them if you work at an assisted living home. You can get them from other older people who've got worse oral health than you ever thought about, just talking with you. The only happy thing about COVID was that people got to realize stuff does spread in a
Yeah.
cloud around you. And I've been trying to teach people that for 50 years. And that's how plaque spreads. That's how these gum disease bacteria spread, people kissing. And if you really want to tempt people to read my book, are we all ladies here or are there some gentlemen?
John Jew was in here. I don't know if he's still here.
There is a section on oral sex and the fact that there is transmission. So be careful. Be careful what's going on. And it's it.
Yeah.
I mean, all these things are important and they are not being talked about.
If I'm going on a month-long hike in the UK, in the Southwest
Wonderful.
Coastal Path,
Oh,
is it sufficient to just use the xylitol while I'm?
well, what I would suggest to you is look into Miswak sticks, MISWAK. And you can buy them on Amazon. I have a link on my Amazon page. And the natural miswak is the one I think I recommend, which is, there are lots and lots of different ones. And we've tried different ones. And they're different. But what's interesting about a miswak, it's a Middle Eastern and Africa. They've used these sticks for thousands and thousands of years. You fray the top to make a toothbrush out of it. And when that toothbrush, you think it's time for a new toothbrush, maybe after a couple of days in your backpack, snip it off with a cigar cutter.
Oh.
I actually sell cigar cutters, a link to cigar cutters on that same Amazon link. And people are like, I think this is a mistake. It's like, no, that's for the miswak because they're quite hard to trim off unless you're good with a knife. You know, maybe you have a pen knife that could do it. But a cigar cutter is ideal. And what was I going to say? So that gives you a clean toothbrush. Clean toothbrush every day. I mean, if you want to put a little tube of toothpaste in there, you could use it as your toothbrush. I mean, you could squeeze maybe a little tiny travel crest and put a tiny.
I'll have a vehicle takes our stuff every day to the next place, and
Just
we just
getting
have to hike
across,
to.
right? I don't know. I would take a tube of crest. I would take a miswak stick, and in that miswak stick are the silica ingredients that are in crest, the essential oils that's in Listerine, and the fluoride that is in egg.
Wonderful. Okay.
All in there. So when people say to me, I want something natural, use a miswak, combine it with Zellies, and you're all set to go.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I do that.
And the oral cancer answer is during chemo, I would do whatever makes you happy. And maybe it is just washing your mouth with xylitol liquid, just like, end of life sort of. It's easy. There's nothing to it. If you like the taste of the crystals, then do that. If you like Zelly's mints, I know people who've said it's absolutely been a lifesaver for them. They would have the Zelly's mints and it stopped them having mucositis. It stopped them having damage, during chemo and radiation and so on. Three hospital speech therapists got in touch with me to say, what are these Zellies? The patients who are not getting mucositis are all people doing your system. So I would do my system before, if you have that opportunity before therapy, do what you can when you're doing the therapy, use the Zellies as much in and out as you can and get back on my system as soon as possible afterwards. I mean, you may have to just do warm salt water at some point if your mouth is really on fire.
It's after 5. It's
Sorry?
after 5 o'clock.
I know, and I've got to do the most. Can I do the most important thing?
Definitely.
Which is the symptoms of heartburn and loose stools. What is going on? I want to talk very seriously about xylitol is a prebiotic in the mouth and it's a prebiotic in your gut. It's seen by your gut as fiber. And the only way to break down fiber in your gut is to have specific cells, little bacteria that are specific for fiber eating. They eat the fiber, and what they produce from the fiber dissolution is a product called butyrate. Butyrate is like the byproduct of when they finished dissolving, chewing down the fiber. And butyrate is almost like a kind of sugary solution that gives energy to the cells that make the lining of your gut. So the health of your gut lining kind of depends on the production of butyrate, which is produced by these bacteria that feed on fiber. And just to make it sound more scientific, butyrate is a short chain fatty acid. So these are short chain fatty acid producing bacteria. And there are different ones. And xylitol particularly feeds one particular kind. And if you're regularly eating xylitol, you will have this great population of bacteria that produce butyrate that keep your gut lining healthy. So
Wow.
xylitol is an integral part of the fibrous diet that can keep your gut lining healthy. Now, the problem here is if you have IBS, if you have leaky gut, or you have some sort of kind of permeable gut, you already probably have a bit of trouble with fiber, and especially of the kind that xylitol is, because xylitol is an insoluble fiber. In other words, kind of liquidy. So what then ends up happening is that you don't have any bacteria to break it down. And then you've got leaky gut. And I tell you, it's hygroscopic. It pulls water to itself. So there it is in your colon, not being broken down, but attracting water, nothing bad is going into your body, but the liquids of your body are coming into your colon, which gives you loose stools.
Mm.
So what we want to do is create the bacteria that will break down fiber. And before you start using xylitol, ideally, you get into good fiber digestion. And I think most people, as they get older, would do well to consider this probiotic. Again, I have a link, of course, on my website, but
Okay.
it's somewhat hidden. And it's BioGaia. I know it's backwards sort of thing to you, isn't it? B-I-O-G.
No, it's forward.
Is it all right?
Yeah.
BioGaia. BioGaia. And BioGaia is I think a Swedish company. And this is for immune health. And it also contains a little bit of vitamin D. I promote that because this is all about, it's one kind of bacteria. It's Lactobacillus L. reuteri. And L. reuteri is kind of foundational. This is the thing that we need on which to build our gut lining. So I don't want you to have these 5 billion, a line, gastroenterologist recommended. Just do simple. Start with simple. It's like, let's try just this. And the other thing that helps is pomegranate. Pomegranate is very, very special. And I'll tell you the pomegranate story if we have time at the end, and you can tell me if we have time. And so I drink pomegranate juice or cold water and take these myself, particularly if I'm about to travel or if I lose my ability to digest fiber. And when you lose your ability to digest fiber, you get bloating, you get gas, you get all the bubbly tummy things. You know, I eat fiber, so much fiber, my body is adjusted to it.
Hmm.
I mean, I do. I eat a couple of kiwi at a time, and
Hmm.
celery and apples, and I mean, my entire life is fiber, I think, and it has been since I was 16. But
Us too.
every now and again, there's something new that comes along. You try eating something which I think is all really good, coconut or something I haven't eaten in a long time, and maybe before I had subject my body to some quantity of something completely different.
Hmm.
Maybe you're going on this trip to England, they're going to give you, uh, lava bread or stuff you've never had. That's seaweed, by the way. Stuff you've never had before. And so you might just want to take these with you.
Yeah,
And every
definitely.
day you're preparing your gut for what's coming down, which is going to be fiber. So hang
Yeah.
on to your horses, And and that's the thing with Zala. That's all you've got to do. And then start slowly, just the 1 mint, which is half a gram, and then another after the next meal, at the end of meals. And then you're going to
Mhm.
not eat or drink afterwards. So that's how you deal with the loose stools. Heartburn, I would say to you for heartburn, try drinking more earlier in the day.
Mhm.
I'm all about drinking when you get first out of bed in the morning. And definitely, I would drink the water. You don't have to get out of bed and clean your teeth. There's no reason. Your teeth are fine. If you're doing my system, your mouth I mean, I look at my tongue in the morning and it's the same color as it is in the middle of the day. Nothing, I don't wake up with film all over my mouth and gunk in
Mhm.
my, I don't even know if I've cleaned my teeth. I actually have to think about it sometimes because
Yeah.
my mouth always feels like this.
Mhm.
And so you don't have to do your morning routine at any particular time, except when you do it, then do not eat or drink for a couple of hours afterwards. And always do the system the last thing in your mouth before sleeping should be the system. I know people who eat early. In fact, tonight, because of this, I decided I had two choices: to eat early or to eat late. I choose to eat early. I cleaned my teeth so I wouldn't have a piece of spinach hanging. And now I won't eat or drink. I'll go to bed.
Mhm.
Nothing, no water, nothing. I won't have acid reflux, I can assure you.
Yeah.
But if I were to wait, decide to eat my spaghetti bolognese at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, clean my teeth and go to bed, so much activity in the biofilm all around, it may well give you a little acid reflux. So I
Mhm.
wouldn't blame it. I'm not saying it doesn't maybe aggravate what already is happening. Just try to move everything a bit earlier.
Mhm.
And if you really have digestive issues, I do recommend Garden of Life. It's papaya and pineapple that help your upper digestive tract to stop creating acid reflux. But that's all I'm going to say about that right now.
Okay.
So, nitric oxide, did you have a question about that? Are you worried at all?
Well, people are concerned, and like one of the gals said that she had a sore that wouldn't heal, and so when she stopped taking the xylitol, the sore healed, and she was wondering, does that have anything to do with, and also had a possible TIA, and was wondering if that had anything to do with it, and so I just said I would put that
I
in the
would say it has
questions.
absolutely nothing to do with it. If
Okay.
anything, if she is fighting bad oral health, that does have stuff to do with blood pressure, breathing, everything. I mean, I am terrified of bad oral health, and so should everybody else be. And the word is terrified because poor oral health is horrible. And I am really mad with this idea that mouthwash is bad
Yeah.
because what is mouthwash? And I've got YouTube videos out there where I show my nitric oxide levels.
That's what you were saying. You can test it.
You can test it. You can buy these on my Zelly's website.
Hmm.
And these are professional grades. I mean, the ones on Amazon really aren't worth the money. I'd say to you, better to spend the money on decent tube of maybe when Zelly's is having a sale and you just want to add to get the free shipping or something. But yeah, you just, lick one end, fold it over, and you will be able to do back, the nitric oxide test.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what you need to know is that when you have, I'm telling you, don't keep sipping water all day. Don't
Yeah.
keep, we want this mouth resting period of an hour. When you eat a meal, say you had lunch and you had celery and veggies and all those great things, and you've got your healthy digestion now because we've taken the probiotics and you're absorbing all these minerals. They will then, because you're going for a walk after lunch or you're going to do a little bit of exercise or rebound or whatever you do, you are circulating the minerals and nutrients that you just absorbed in the food you ate. And it goes around your body. It literally goes around your body in that hour. Then at 1 hour, the salivary ducts, the salivary glands that are where the ducts that go into your mouth begin, are like a bird's nest of capillaries. And there's an exchange of minerals and nutrients from the blood directly into the salivary ducts. And then that drains into your mouth. So the timing of all this means that the nitrates in the broccoli and the foods you ate at lunchtime, celery, beets in particular, end up in your saliva 60 to 90 minutes after your lunch. So if you want to feed the bacteria in your mouth that create nitric oxide from the nitrates, you must not be eating and drinking 60 to 90 minutes after your meal. Am I explaining the time frame? So your first hour is your teeth mineralizing because you had xylitol.
Mm-hmm.
When that's over at an hour, instead of you having a cup of coffee now, oh, thank goodness the hour's over. No, think about this. If you just ate that beautiful meal of all those healthy nutrients, wait. Here, Dr. Ellie's saying, wait a minute. Let that exchange happen. Let those bacteria, the good bacteria, the essential key bacteria in your mouth, be fed by your saliva for another 30 minutes at least. So I would recommend the 1 to 2 hour mouth resting is absolutely the best thing you can do. During that time, the nitrates are going to find these good bacteria in your mouth. And again, I've used my complete mouth care system now for over 40 years, every single day, 6 mouth rinses. And I have optimal denitrifying bacteria through bacterial testing with 2 companies that don't even know me. One is Bristle that you can use, but I'm not a big fan of Bristle because I don't think they know what they're doing. But I say that out publicly online because they're still telling people to floss and brush. And
Mm-hmm.
I just get frustrated by that because I've worked with Bristle, and Bristle have seen the results of a Sjogren's patient get miraculously healed with my system, but it doesn't go with the dogma of dentistry, and Bristle are in most dental offices selling their products. So, there's a lot of politics in so much of this stuff.
Yeah.
It all with a grain of salt unless you want to know the truth. And a few dentists and myself are thinking of coming out with a documentary called The Truth About Dentistry. So that may be up there. A few
Wow.
outspoken people who are really tired of the compromise. There's just so much compromise.
Would you recommend one of your YouTubes that shows the complete mouth care system? Somebody's asking about what are the measurements, specific amounts of each thing that they
Doesn't
take.
matter. You just use what's comfortable in your mouth. There is no measurement. It doesn't matter. It's not a medicine. You're not drinking it. And, people always pick up the act and say it says they only use once a day. I tell them, well, then use half the amount twice a day, because half the amount is going to be plenty. And you'll save money that way.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to fill it up to the line.
No way. No way.
Okay.
I find it too much. Just too much.
Yeah,
Because
I know with the
small mouths,
Listerine, it doesn't take much.
some women have really tiny little mouths, and
Yeah.
some men have giant mouths. You should see. I mean, like a cave in there. And so to say a volume is just the manufacturer giving you some guidance.
Yeah. Okay. Good
And when
point.
you hear this story about mouthwash, told to you by somebody, ask them what mouthwash are we talking about? Because it's kind of like saying, well, I can't stand cake. Or, I mean, I can't even think of a similar thing because there are white cakes, there is black cake, dark cake,
Yeah.
chocolate cake, there's
Yeah.
fruit cake,
Lemon cakes.
there's every kind of cake. And
Yeah.
ingredients in each of these cakes, some have Splendor in it. Well, I don't want that, you know, and some have, you know, butter. And I had one the other day, tastes like my grandma made. It was obviously delicious. How could you not like that? And, you know, this is where it's ridiculous to put, you know, just brush all mouthwashes and call them mouthwash. If you drink a glass full of Avion water, just water, and drink it, you have washed your mouth, but you swallowed it. If you put the Avion water in your mouth and rinse out and then spat it out, it was a mouthwash. I mean, whether the liquid goes here or there, it does the same thing in the middle. So for these crazy people to be pointing fingers at mouthwash saying that damages nitric oxide, well, so does drinking and probably your beer and your
Oh, yeah.
wine. And I mean, but actually, alcohol is diluted by the saliva in your mouth, and alcohol does not kill anything in the mouth. Do you remember during COVID that you had to have dry hands to put the alcohol on your hands, and it had to be 70 or more percent, and you had to rub them till they were dry and they had to be clean? Well, I'll tell you something. The mouth is not dry. It is not clean. It's slimy, and you cannot keep it till it's completely dry because there's always salivary gland flow. So
Mhm.
there is no such thing as sterilizing your mouth. And that is just a fact. That's just a fact. And there have been so many companies trying to pull down Listerine. And there was
Mhm.
one recently that came up with some kind of attorney on TikTok trying to say she's going to sue them for some. They manufacture a study. They manufacture a study that will make something look bad. And they did that with
Mhm.
xylitol. There was a study done last year, and you may have heard of this study where I don't think we talked about it last time, right? Where 10 really sick old people were given 30 grams of xylitol to drink in
Mhm.
a 1 ounce shot. So they weren't nibbling at it, or that would have been 60 minutes. And they're sick and they're old and they're on medication and
Yeah.
they're probably really unhealthy and they're probably not used to fiber. Would you
Yeah.
even give them that? That shocks me.
Yeah.
And after not eating and drinking, they put them on a fast before they did that. And you see, this 15 grams that's made in our bodies is quickly dissipated, it doesn't build up. So to give the body this shock of 60, 60 minutes, 30 grams, just like that, to me, it's shocking. I mean, I'm just horrified. And in the study, when they were asking to do the study, they were going to do it with 5 grams, which sounds much more realistic if you really want to do a study. Let's have a
Mhm.
couple of levels. But they never reported the 5 grams. And, it was private equity groups that funded it are in competition, bringing out a pharmaceutical that would be competitive
Mhm.
with xylitol. So, I mean, this whole thing was manufactured and they went straight to the media and they have made everybody think xylitol gives you a heart attack, which is
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous. Nobody in that group of 10 people had any clinical symptoms. I'm surprised they didn't throw up. If you'd done that,
Wow.
if you'd done that with table salts, if you gave me 30 grams of table salts, I think I would have thrown up. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're not going to do that. No, that was a really, really crazy study. So don't listen to all the studies you see on TikTok because people are doing this. They did one with Listerine where they put the skin cells in a Petri dish and poured the Listerine over them. And the cells curled up, of course. Oh,
Yeah.
it causes cancer. Well, no, because in your mouth, you have biofilm, you have layers of things. You don't just take a skin cell and pour Listerine on it. I mean, if you hate somebody bad enough or something or a product, you know,
Yeah.
you can make it so. And I'm really sorry. I mean, we made butter like that. Do you remember the day when we made butter the bad guy? We made coffee a bad guy. We made I mean, there's sort of so many products we have made bad
Yeah.
and then found out, oops. I don't know if, can you eat ghee?
No,
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 neither
we
butter
don't.
nor ghee. Mm-mm.
Yeah, we're well, I mean, maybe some do, but
No,
we don't do any.
it's pure butyrate. That's all I was going to tell you. That
Uh-huh,
butter is called butter because of the butyrate in it. And
uh-huh,
I know you
uh,
don't eat butter, but I was wondering
yeah,
if ghee, because it's different.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
no. Wow, I need to let you
Any,
go.
well, any more, I'm okay. Any more questions or?
I think we covered all the questions. Does anybody have anything? You can just unmute yourselves and ask.
I
Let
did
me,
have one question. I did have one question because you started to say, do you want to know how to make your own xylitol?
Okay, mints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's easy, otherwise
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
just keep buying everything. But
I'm gonna send you to a website because I think they're very creative. It's
I'm just going to
called,
grab a pen.
okay.
I'll put
Um,
it in the chat.
it's called Teeth for Eternity. And they're a Christian group in the Netherlands. And they're very taken with the whole mouth care system. And they have created, I have nothing to do with this. I'm not on the board or director of it or involved in any way, shape, or form. They have taken it upon themselves to get a group together and they promote this mouth care system for the good of mankind. And they show you how to make your own mints. And
Okay,
they
thank
actually
you.
sell sort of like a ice tray that you can make a 1 gram mint with granular xylitol for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
So, I'm fine with whatever floats your boat. I think it's
Yeah.
great that we've been doing that actually in missionary trips for over 15 years now. I told a missionary guy, same thing. You won't get xylitol out in the Congo. And so they would take the necessary ingredients and make their own things. So this has been going on in countries where it's very difficult for a long time.
Yeah. And the mints are just, you could crush the mints up to make the granules, couldn't you?
You wouldn't do it that way around. I wouldn't do it that way
I,
around.
oh, okay. No, but I'm just saying, if you were saying you could just use a few of the granules that you can buy in the packet. I've got a packet of
That's what I
mint.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, you
next
got the
time
mints and you're
I'll buy
wondering.
the, yeah, I'll buy
Yeah.
the granules next time, but could I make the mints last longer by crushing them and just using a smaller amount in my mouth?
No, just have 1 mint. 1 mint is half a gram. It's a very
Okay.
small amount.
All
I'm just
right.
saying if you really want to go cheaper, the granules are. I just found I would sort of encourage people, and it's not for sales, but the results have been better when people use the mints. I think they're more
Yeah.
convenient, they're tastier. Maybe the peppermint has a value added and the cinnamon and things like that. We get people healthy in a really short time. If you're not healthy within a few months, maybe try the real deal and then play with it and experiment with your newfangled ideas for the rest of your life. It's like going up a down escalator. This first bit is hard. You've got to have the right toothbrushes. You've got to use the right amount of xylitol. You've
Yeah.
got to get the rinses right. You've got to use the closest. You must time how long you are. You've got to do the gum massage. You've got to do what it is because
Yeah.
this is like going through. I'm not in the least going to say it's like chemotherapy, but it's like a therapy that is very intense.
Mhm,
It's a therapy. You've got a sickness and we're getting you healthy.
mhm.
Once you're
Yeah.
healthy, then we can have some experimentation. Maybe you don't like this brush, you rather have an electric or try different things and then you see which it feels the best for you. But I'm trying to give you a therapy that I know works. And on that
And we
note,
appreciate it.
the
Yeah. Thank you.
pomegranate note, I just want to tell you, and this butyrate idea, pomegranate feeds the butyrate bacteria too. And what I want you to know is that I'm friends with a nutrition doctor who actually has developed immunotherapies, not chemotherapy, but when they boost your immune system
Mhm,
to fight cancer.
Mhm.
And he tells the story of how he had one group, he's made 14, I think, or more immunotherapy medicine, actual treatments that he has launched. And in one of these cohorts of people being treated was his mother in stage 4 cancer. And he gave this group the immunotherapy, and fortunately, 20% of the group got completely well. They didn't just get a bit well, they were in remission, his mother included, which was great news. But that was 20%. 80% of this group died, sadly. They did not get better. And they were all really, really sick. And he was brilliant enough to think 20% get completely well and the other die. What is the difference? And he took a measurement of the gut biome of the patients who had died and the patients who were living. And he found one bacteria difference. And it is a bacteria that is promoted by pomegranate. It is like this L. reuteri, is very foundational in the gut. You cannot implant it. You have to develop it with fibrous foods, and it is extremely sensitive to antibiotics.
Mm.
But I found that fascinating. It has made me, ever since that day, take a little shot glass of pomegranate juice pretty much every single day, if not more, because I'm prepared to do that to help those guys that are keeping me healthy. And, that's how I think about it. I was trying to describe it to my grandchildren. We have to eat for the beings inside us that are us. I mean,
That's
it's
right.
almost like looking after kids in your gut. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the weirdest thing, isn't it? I don't know if you got a better way to describe it, but
It's a whole community in there.
they really are. And it's the
It's
same in your mouth. You're
yeah.
nurturing. Nurture is the word I use. Like I
Yeah.
nurture the good bacteria in my mouth. And when my front teeth are dry, like right now, I'm lick them and then I'll go
Mhm.
have a Zelly mint in a minute.
Well, this has been a game changer. I just love it.
I hope I answered all the questions and made people feel
Yeah.
comfortable. And
Is Palm sold in stores okay to use?
is
Palm? Is that a
oh
brand
yeah,
of?
I buy the
Palm.
Palm Wonderful.
Uh-huh.
I don't
Good.
have very much, and it's in Costco. You can get
I love it.
and it's tasty and delicious. And he says juice is
Great.
as good as, I mean, opening the actual fruits is
Oh man, when they're in
lazy, but
season, they're wonderful.
they are wonderful. So
Eat one every day when they're in season.
I encourage you, and every time you eat a pomegranate, I hope you think of the blessing it is to us.
you.
I'll think of you, Dr.
Wow.
Ellie.
I learned it from others, and we were gifted it by nature, right? So it's
Yeah.
wonderful. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for coming on
Thank you very
today.
much.
How soon will this be up? Is it take a little bit, a week or so?
Well, I just have to edit it. You know how that goes. So
All right.
soon, by
Let me
by
know.
the end of the week, definitely.
My
Okay, I'll let you
publisher
know.
would like to know in advance for some reason. I don't know if he's waving flags around. I would like to encourage, well, may I ask you if you do decide